it is OJ who has gotten himself into some of that action, and he is leading the park for his team, leading by example as he takes out two of those players right there for INF. The rest of the players is deciding, hey, you know what, we're just going to leave that position and just move away from that particular fight right there. All right, so we'll also look at the boys right there from Georgiapool. All the way in Georgiapool, you have Solo as well as Dream Team. So Solo Esports and Dream Team are currently situated within that region too. We might see a skirmish coming down between them. As you can see on the map right there, we have all the squads who are just gearing and gearing for what is going to be an amazing day. You've seen the leaderboard, you've seen the action going down, you've seen that map situated around that southern region, and all of these squads have got to start to rotate towards that zone right there. IC is currently outside the zone, as well as the boys from Apex, Solo Esports, and as well as Dream Team. Sidizens Gaming is just not of them sitting down around that North Georgiapool region. They're currently unchallenged, but they will also be looking to rotate into that good spot within the zone. UNK is not too far away from the boys from Valhalla. Disparaged, who put up a great performance in yesterday's game, is also trying as much as possible to rotate from those horizons around Rosehawk. And we'll see how that one does begin to flourish as we do see some action going down boys from Dream Team and Solo Esports. Solo Esports have gotten themselves a knock onto one of the players right there, Acha from Dream Team. And I'm curious to see how this one actually does flow as Samurai and Doctor are making their move into the building right there. You can see the two of them popping on them nades, moving into the buildings. Solo Esport does definitely need this because they have not been in their game lately. Ooh, but it is now going against them as a nade pops up into that position where Samurai is at. This is exactly what we've been talking about here, right? All of a sudden, things can just turn and just move the entirely other way for the boys from Samurai. They got to be really careful on how they play this. And now it does look like they've gotten another knock. The boys from Dream Team have Storm, who's currently taken down. It's now left to just Sad and Has to keep them in this game. The battle is really fierce between these two squads. And guess what? There's also the boys from Apex lurking around. And that's exactly what they try as much as possible to see what they can take on when it comes to fights like this from a distance. But Solo Esports getting damaged just before they're able to take out the last guy. They lose one of their players right there to the boys right there from Dream Team. And now you're now seeing shots coming in from the boys from Apex from that distance, trying as much as possible to see if they can farm some shots. Samurai goes down. He is one of the victims to the boys from Apex. How are they going to be pushing onto this one to try as much as possible to clear out that team? Because this is what Apex does. They attack you at your weakest. Solo Esports trying as much as possible to get the revives just in time. Apex trying as much as possible to begin to make the move, getting closer and closer to this position where the boys from Solo Esports are. But they've gotten on their revive. They have 4 kills to their name. Solo Esports not looking too bad. But losing one man definitely is going to be affecting them in this game. Judging by the kill feed, we do see a fight going down between the boys from Invictus and the boys right there from Vibe Gaming. Remember, Invictus was a team who landed up at Rosehawk initially in the beginning of the game, now turning sights onto the boys from Vibe Gaming. I do believe they had a knock and a finish or confirmation onto one of the players from Vibe Gaming right there, and it was Bougie who had gotten confirmed. We'll see how that one goes as the play zone is now beginning to make that move onto the second stage. Apex Kage and his boys Blessing are deciding, hey, to hop into the vehicles and as much as possible to begin to get into that zone. That zone, which is currently being occupied by MOB in Pochinki. Vibe Gaming is making the rotations as they've lost one of their players to Invictus. Disparaged is doing that too as well. Fortunately enough, as you can see from the map, Team Tryout and Habitual did not get into any skirmish in Severny. Both of them disrespected themselves and decided to go their very merry way. Well, are they going to decide now to begin that fight while they're still in the play zone? We'll see how that goes. All right, so everyone's beginning to make the move, trying to find places to call their own. Did not get into it. Everyone's beginning to make the move. Okay, so taking a look at the zone right now, we're in that stage 2, about to move into the stage 3 of the zone. There's several different teams already beginning to shape up for what is going to be a grand stand in this particular game. We have the boys from Apex heading towards that position in Pochinki, where there are already two teams who have made Pochinki home, who might be beginning a fight right there. You have the boys from Disparaged as well as the boys from MOB currently sitting down there. As we can see right here in the game, we have TOS currently making their rotations around the boys right there from Habitual. I don't think they should be fighting in the zone, but it does look like that's exactly what they're gonna do. They help down from the vehicles and are looking for the trouble right here. You do have player 7 and the teammate looking to see if they can get that knock. But is this the wisest decision to be making in circumstances like this? Player 3 driving around the boys from Habitual is down to pretty much what is a very low HP and might get knocked. And that's exactly what happens to player 3. Fighting outside the zone does definitely have its repercussions, and it gets taken down by 419 in that particular position. Now the boys from TOS down to just 3 players in this particular one, fighting up against the boys from Habitual, and we've seen this happen over and over again. One tiny little mistake or decision does send the boys from TOS out of the game. All right, so the guys are having technical difficulties for now. So we'll just be waiting to see what it's going to be like. We will have the guys. It is laggy, but I'm sure we'll fix it after this break. For now, Pris is going to be joining us in a bit, so we'll see how that goes down after this. It is also difficult for me to see and to be able to follow the stream and to follow the game through myself, but we'll see how we'll just manage it for now. As difficult as it is for you to watch, it is also, I'm struggling to see the teams and the players too as well. So I'm just trying my very best to just go through things as best as I can for now. All right, so there was some TOS just grabbing the vehicles, and a couple of the players have just rotated away from that position, formed the boys from Habitual, and trying as much as possible to see if they can get themselves into a favorable spot. But they're currently stuck within that zone, trying to get the hills, trying to get the meds, and that may be some trouble for them. We're seeing all the way in Pochinki, where the zone has now caught up with them. It is Disparaged as well as the boys from MOB, who are getting into a little skirmish right there in that position. And the boys of Disparaged have lost 2 players to the boys from MOB, who have only 3 players left in that particular fight. It is Wolf, it is Rage coming up against the boys right there from Disparaged, who got 2 winner chicken dinners in that yesterday's game. And they continue on the fight right there, while we see the boys from TOS, just making the rotations into that spot within the zone. We can see on the kill feed, MOB is hanging on for their life up against the boys from Disparaged and are putting up a strong fight, but it is really tough for the both of them. Right, the boys from TOS finding themselves in some trouble as they do lose two of their players. They're continuing to try as much as possible to hold it down in this game. It is very difficult for a lot of these teams making those rotations late within this particular point of the zone usually does have its repercussions, as you can see, but they've been able to get back up one of the players. At least it does look like player 5 is going to continue to bleed out right there in the zone while the boys from TOS continue to make their rotations. The other fight that was going on was between the boys from Disparaged and as well as MOB, while they were situated within that middle spot within Pochinki, as the zone is continuing to shift right there onto its fourth zone. We do still have the boys from Citizens who are moving all the way from that western region of the bridge within military base, as well as the boys from Vibe Gaming who are trying as much as possible to rotate around them. Apex is deciding to go through the blue and continue on those rotations from that region where Citizens is currently at, so we might see something going down between the two of them. As you can see, Disparaged is also making those rotations through that Pochinki region, through that same axis where you might find Vibe Gaming just in front of them. So it's very tough for a lot of these teams right now. We're still down to about 12 teams in the lobby. The teams who have been taken out of the game so far are Dream Team, Solo Esports, Afro Esports, and MOB. The teams who have been balling in action so far are Apex. Apex have lost one of the players. They've lost Wizard, but have got 3 kills to their name so far. Disparaged have got 4 kills so far, having taken out the boys from MOB early on, continuing on the onslaught that we saw from them yesterday's game. Those are the teams that have been putting in the work right there, but TOS having such a tough time. I do lose another player to the play zone. They're left with just the last guy right here within the lobby, and it's just player 1 who's holding them and hanging them on for dear life in this particular game. Still leaves us with about 12 teams so far. This Pyro is trying as much as possible to cross over to the other side. We now move on to the 4th stage of the zone, with the boys from Extremist all the way on the other side, setting on shots onto IC. And this is what now begins a very, very tough game for all of these guys. You can see the boys from Disparaged trying as much as possible to cross over to the other side. There's also player 1 who might be sending them shots all the way. Bravo trying to get his teammate into that zone, but the team Invictus is right there in front of them. First Artics hanging on for their life as they have only 2 players up in this one. They got 2 other players down to the play zone. A lot of these teams have been finding themselves stuck within the zone and trying as much as possible to get in. Invictus might just be that Trojan horse for them because the boys from First Artics are between 2 teams. You got the boys from Extremist right there on the right side, and towards their west, you got the boys from Invictus. And now we're beginning to see that happen as Rogue Baby and the rest of the players are putting in the work onto Chapo and his boys right there from First Artics. But they got to be careful because not too far away from them is the boys from Extremist. You can see Rogue Baby just sending on the shots as points goes in right for the juggle. Right there from First Artics as they get sent packing back to the lobby. Invictus currently sitting down with a whole bunch of kills in this particular one. They've got 4 kills to themselves as they have confirmed and taken out the boys from Invictus from this game. TOS still currently holding a good one, as we do see on the kill feed. The boys from Citizens now getting into a skirmish of their own as they do gun down a couple of players right there from Valhalla. Chetu and his boys currently do have 1 kill. Beast is currently down, so the boys Valhalla, I do believe, are down to just 2 players who are currently up. 007 is getting tagged up by a third-party fight. You can see the UNK Stress getting a knock right there onto one of the players right there from Valhalla, and Valhalla is down now to just the last guy, down to just Xenox, who found himself in a fight with the UNK. So Citizens might now be taking over that fight. UNK are just a 2-man squad in this particular one and are looking to see if they can hold on in this game versus a full squad coming up against the boys from Citizens. Right, Citizens, Bego and Jota smelling that and now pulling up onto Obito. Obito popping on his nades, sending on the mollies, trying as much as possible to keep them at bay. But Citizens are just looking for that 1 elimination onto the player right there, Obito. They're currently not fully aware of where he's currently at right now, trying as much as possible to to play this really careful. But Bego's looking for that kill. He's waiting for that opportunity. Sidizens Gaming with 3 kills to themselves. Mohamed Obito's teammate just hanging on right there, waiting for the opportunity to take down one of the players from Sidizens. If they can get them taken out of the game so far, at least one of the players right there from Sidizens taken out, then it might just turn things around, because it's looking like Sidizens might be taking on or taking out the boys from UNK from this game. Sidizens are now turning the sides onto finding a better spot within that zone, and they're pretty much in what is a 2-2 split at this particular moment. And that's the thing about Sidizens, they're deciding to prioritize getting themselves into a good spot rather than fully on taking the boys from UNK, as UNK is currently situated outside that zone. We're currently sitting down in the 5th zone. We're seeing a fight going down now between the boys from Apex. Apex have still got a 3-man squad. They're still holding it down. Blessing goes down. They're fighting it hard with the boys from INF, but they're able to win that skirmish right there. But they're down to just 2 players left. With Blessing down, is just Kage, who is trying to get into that building. But somehow it doesn't work for him. Sometimes that happens when you have your jump and climb separate. So you actually do forget that is separate, and that's why he was trying to jump into that one. All right, so we might be seeing a fight going, as we're down to 7 teams in this one, we might be seeing a fight going down between the boys from Sidizens and Invictus. And this is really interesting because these 2 teams are currently sitting down with 4 members each on both sides. And Sidizens have got to be really careful, because the boys right there from Invictus have been hot on their tails throughout. Not too far away from them is the boys from Extremist, who are also looking to get themselves some kills. So Sidizens, having not taken out the boys from UNK, might now be regretting that, because Mohamed, who was definitely aware of the position, now takes down one of the players right there from Sidizens. But the fight going down between Invictus and the boys right there from Extremist might just buy them enough time to be able to seal the deal with the boys from UNK. You can see Pinswa just moving along, trying to get a good position at an angle, trying to scout around to find exactly where the boys from Extremist are currently situated at. And it's a tough one for all of these guys, as they're really close quarters. You can see that player right there from TOS, the Tryout Squad. That's the one player being the Trojan horse in this particular game, as he does take down one of the players right there from Extremist, and it's a Sleek who goes down. And this is where it now begins to get tough, because you can see shots that's being let loose at every single corner. The boys from Sidizens have been able to get back the player who was knocked down. I do believe it was Beko. And they've been able to keep their full squad together. So let's take a look at it. Let's see. It's just 2 players left from Apex. Sidizens are still holding a full squad. Invictus are still with their full squad right here. The Extremists have lost one of their players right there to the last player right there from TOS, who's still holding on for their life. Oh, wait, he got the knock, but the kill was stolen. All right, so we're hanging on to the final circle. Neo making that push onto the boys from Extremist. Wolf trying to get that heal just in time. Remember, there's also the TOS player who's down there, who's making his move. He turning his sights onto the TOS player, and that probably is what took him out of the game. He should have taken out the boys from Extremists before he decided to take on the shots onto that player from TOS. Mad stuff happening right now. Sitting down in the zone is just the boys right there from Sidizens and the boys from Invictus. You also got Disparaged, who's still in the game. Sidizens Bego sending on shots onto the last 2 players for Apex. Invictus still rocking a full squad. They've got 8 kills to the name so far. Sidizens Game is sitting down with 6 kills and Apex with 5. Sidizens looking like they can actually seal this game through. They do have the numbers. They're coming up against the boys from Invictus. It's all down to the next knock, because they have a separation, and that may work for Invictus, but Invictus is taking it quite calm for now, not making their push. They're taking on the shots onto Apex, trying to get into the zone. You can see Blessing and Kage pull up onto the scene right next to the boys from Citizens and as well as Invictus. Rogue Baby with the nade sends down Blessing. Disparaged also coming in with the shots right there onto Invictus, and that may just buy the boys from Apex some time. With Pinks were down, he does need his teammate Rogue Baby to come back up and save him for their life, and it does look like his teammates do pull up onto the scene while they're getting that revive. Disparaged. Still sending on them shots onto the boys from Apex, but Rogue Baby with the nade is able to get the shots. To go right here is to take out the boys from Disparaged, as Rogue Baby gets another knock right there, as you can see on the kill feed, to the boys from Disparaged. Rogue Baby is still putting in the work in this game, and she's currently sitting down with 4 kills in this match. The boys from Disparaged get sent out of the game. And right now we got 3 squads in this one, as it is Invictus coming up against Apex, as well as Citizens Game is sitting down with a full squad. Citizens just taking it easy, waiting and biding their time. Because they go there, they've got a good position within that zone. They don't have to be aggressive. They just have to wait to see what the zone does next. And speaking of the zone is now shifting towards that region where Invictus is currently situated, as Invictus is holding a spot within that zone, and down goes Joker. Apex pulling up onto that location where Citizens Gaming is currently at. Godier going back to provide the support up against Blessing and Joker. Another knock goes down right there onto the boys from Citizens as Jota goes down. Gambego and Godier provide the defense that's needed to keep this team, Apex, at bay in this one. The nade letting loose from Godier as it does go and hit its target. It's now left to Kage. Kage holding on for their life, and this one is he's got 2 extreme players just in front of him. He's got Bego and he's got Godier. Can he go for that revive? It doesn't look like it, as the mollies just keep letting loose. But he wants to get that revive because he knows if he's going to push in for that final circle, he's got to get his teammate back up. So Invictus, they've been hearing this. They've been seeing the fight going on, but they have not pushed. They're just waiting. They've got a good position within that zone, but boom, down goes Kage. Rogue Baby just waiting for the perfect opportunity, and she sends Kage back into the lobby. And now this is where the boys from Invictus will be looking to see if they can seal this game through. It is the boys from Citizens sitting down with 2 players. It is Godier and as well as Bego, with Pintois and Rogue Baby having done a lot of work in this particular game. Rogue Baby's got 5 kills to herself. Definitely is contender for MVP in this game. Rogue Baby sending on them nades onto that position where Godier is currently at. Is that going to do the damage? She's been doing a lot of damage with the nade so far. Godier is waiting and biding his time for the right moment to make that push. All right, so it's all down to tiny little moments like this. It is the boys from Citizens coming up against Invictus, as well as a team Apex in this top 3 position in this first game right here in Erangel. Invictus currently sitting down with 10 kills, Citizens with 8, as well as Apex sitting down with 7 kills in this one. The boys from Citizens have got the heal advantage. They'll be looking to see if they can take out Invictus. And everyone's just waiting for the next zone. But they've got to make the move right now, because the boys from Invictus have got a spot within that zone. And the Blues going to be draining quite a lot. So you want to make your move right now. But it doesn't look like they have a lot of smokes to work with. And that might just be to the favor of the boys right there from Invictus. As you can see, Pete Swat and Rogue Baby, they're in no hurry. They're just waiting for the exact moment where the boys from Citizens have to begin to make the move. And Bego does get the knock onto the last player right there from Apex, as he does send them back into the lobby. Apex finishing this one in 3rd place with 7 kills to the name. Citizens Gaming now assuring the second spot courtesy of Bego. Now looking to crawl into that zone, waiting for that next knock. And we've seen moments like this a lot of times. It's all down to who gets the first knock to win this game. In a 2v2 situation, the smokes being let loose. Pink's now being aware of the potential location of Bego. Now coming in to provide close quarter support for his teammate Rogue Baby. But here's what it is, down to that final moment. You can see Rogue Baby, who is continuing on the action that she's been doing so far within this particular game, just get another knock, looking for that elimination. Turns side onto Godye, gets the final elimination of the game, and it is Invictus getting that winner chicken dinner at the end of the day. All right, guys. So we've had some difficulties so far in this particular game. It's not been the clearest. It's been difficult to see and watch, but hopefully we'll sort it out before the next game comes through. So don't go nowhere. We'll also be getting Priest to join on, and we'll see how that one actually does play out. All right. All right, so taking a look at the leaderboard so far, we do have Invictus sitting down with 22 kills with 22 points in this first game, getting themselves 12 kills and that top spot, obviously boosting them up on that leaderboard. We've not been seeing this game go on. We've not been seeing the boys from Invictus go on with such a brilliant performance. This is probably the first time we're seeing Baby perform like this. Shout out to Citizens and Apex for continuing the consistency that we've seen them throughout the entire tournament, getting themselves in that second and third spot. Disparaged as well, able to grab 8 points in that particular game as well. It's Infinity taking on 6, with Solo Esports having gotten 5 kills early on in the game. So lovely performances from all of these teams, and we'll be looking to see what comes next, if they can continue to replicate the performance that we've seen from them so far. All right. So for the guys who were just watching, who are coming on and wondering like what's going on, we had a bit of lag. We'll be moving into a Sandhog game. We'll take a quick break and we'll be back for some more action right now while we try as much as possible to go and resolve the issues with the stream. All right.